You're listening to Flip Empire, the show committed to helping real estate entrepreneurs who want to build their empire without sacrificing their life. Your success and freedom starts now with your host, Alex Pardo.
I'm so excited to bring you the first episode on the Flip Empire show of 2023. And let me be the first to tell you, Happy New Year. I'm super jazzed and just pumped and excited for you. You know, when I think back at 2022 and I even go back and look at all the previous years and I see all the growth, all the pain, the heartache, the challenges, the lessons learned, the wins, the success, everything was meant to bring us to the point that we are now. All change begins with first making a decision. And that's kind of the catalyst of today's podcast episode. And some of the things I just want to share with you, some unfiltered thoughts, some things that I just jotted down here to remind you of, and hopefully things to encourage you to do if you're not already doing them. I want to start with a couple things that I do every year that I think have been instrumental in my success, and more importantly, instrumental in my growth, because not all success is measured by wins. Believe it or not, I have come to view the losses, the lessons learned, the challenges, again, the heartaches that I alluded to just a few minutes ago. I have come to see that as a big part of my growth. And I want you to do the same thing in 2023, because let's be honest, you're going to have setbacks. You're going to have things that don't work out as planned. But what are you going to do with that? Right? You can only control the controllables. And I see too many people out there focused on trying to fix the things that at the end of the day, they have no ability to impact, right? All you can do is focus on yourself, your mindset, how you react to something versus being reactive, how you act, how the decisions you make, the decisions you don't make. All those have led you to where you are today. So one of the things I do towards the end of every year, and if you haven't done this, it's perfectly cool. The best time to start something is yesterday. The next best time is today. So one of the things I always do is I create a word for the year. In 2022, my word was surrender. And I won't get into like why I chose that word. And I don't just randomly, jump online and start looking at words of the year and just pick something that sounds good. Years ago, I did that. And it didn't really resonate. So I encourage you to really think long and hard about what it is you want to accomplish this year. Where do you want to take your business? What changes do you want to make in your personal life? Maybe it's relationships, maybe it's health. Where is it? If you could have a magic wand, if you could wave it and you could fast forward to January 1st, 2024, what would you wave that wand and have your life and business look like? And then try to pick a word that crosses over, that is all encompassing. So last year, again, it was surrender for me. I realized that I wasn't focused on controlling the controllables. I was too focused on things I wanted or areas I wanted to grow in. And I just wasn't I wasn't surrendering. I wasn't just letting go and letting God. So this year, I was on a walk with my wife and our health coach, and we started talking about the word of the year, and I had been thinking about this already. And I want to give credit to Caro, who was the one that thought of this word. And right when she said it, it just clicked, it resonated. So my word for 2023 is upgrade. That's my word for 2023. It's upgrade. And how I use this word is when sometimes when I wake up in the morning and I'm just not feeling like getting after it. Maybe I'm feeling sluggish or maybe I'm just tired or whatever the case might be. I think of upgrade, right? I think of that word, and it's a word that's supposed to resonate. So for me, upgrade is upgrade certain belief systems. It's upgrade my health. It's upgrade my business, upgrade my relationships, the key ones anyway. And I'm going to get to that in a second. So for me, upgrade is an all-encompassing word that resonates with me. It clicks, it connects. And that's what I want your word to do for you. Don't just choose upgrade because I'm saying it. Don't just, go out and choose breakthrough because it sounds good. If that's your word and it resonates, great. But I want you to spend a little bit of time, and maybe what you can do as an action step is without overthinking it, take out a journal, a notepad, a pen and paper, or maybe just the notes on your smartphone, and just start thinking of what are words that are all encompassing. Think about where you want to be 12 months from today. Assume it's already happened, how you would feel, and then start just throw things against the wall. Just start thinking of words that resonate with you. And I want that to be your word for 2023. The other thing I want to just share with you is I spoke about January 1st, 2024, and I recorded a podcast on this a little bit over a year ago. It's called the January letter. It's something that I heard from a friend of mine, Sean Terry, talk about the January letter. And the January letter is, and if you haven't done this, it's perfectly fine. You can do it today. Write yourself a letter as if it's January 1st of the next year, right? So let's say you're listening to this on, January 2nd, 2023. Write yourself a letter today, but write as if it is January 1st, 2024, and write yourself a letter about how that year went, everything you accomplished, the areas you grew in, the people you connected with, the relationships you built, the relationships you continue to go deeper with. Write yourself a letter as if everything you wanted to happen actually happened in your life and business. And as you write this letter, of course, we know that we need to, it's not just about law of attraction type stuff, but we need to actually put ourselves in that place mentally. We need to put ourselves in that state so that we can feel all those feelings. How would you feel? Write all these things down. And then I want you to read that letter as often as possible. Read that January letter, January 1st, 2024, and read it as if it's already happened in the past. Okay, so the January letter is something I definitely encourage you to do. And then I want to kind of transition a little bit to some things that I just want to speak on a broad level, but things that I think can really have a meaningful impact on you here. Every week, I want you to set an intention. So similar to how you created, hopefully you're going to create your word for 2023. Every week, I want you to set an intention for that week, right? Is it something you need to do, a step you need to take on something you've been procrastinating on that you know is going to lead you towards your vision or help you accomplish a certain goal? Maybe it's a phone call you got to make. Maybe it's a meeting you got to set, a letter you have to write, a text you need to send. Whatever it is, I want you to set an intention for the week. And then every single morning and every single night, I want you to ask yourself, am I moving towards my intention? Is my attention the wind beneath me, behind me, pushing me, or have I just forgotten about it? I find that when you set an intention, it's almost like, I think of just recently, I came across the story of Babe Ruth. I think it was in the 1930s in Game 3. His team was, I'm forgetting some of the particulars, but Babe Ruth, we know the story of him pointing towards center field and calling a shot. And he did it numerous times, and then he ended up knocking it out of the park. I want you to be like Babe Ruth. I want you to, don't be like Babe Ruth as far as drinking and smoking and everything else, right? But be like Babe Ruth as far as calling your shot. Set your intention for the week. What is it you want to accomplish? What is it you want to do? Again, it could be something small, it could be something big, but I find the power of setting an intention can be huge in our life and business. One other thing I want to share with you that I've really been chewing on and thinking on long and hard is, those that know me will all admit that I'm somebody that I'm always in pursuit of growth. I'm always in pursuit of just being the best version of myself, the best father, the best husband, the best leader, the best entrepreneur, the best podcaster, whatever it is. I'm always in the pursuit of growth. And I think that's great and it serves me. And I think in other areas, it has led me to go wide in certain cases when I should probably just be going deep, right? And so maybe it's just all the different YouTube channels that I subscribe to and videos I consume or content I consume or all the different books I've read, whatever the case might be, podcasts I've listened to. So I want you, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's great to have depth and knowledge and to just be well-versed amongst different things. But what if you took the opposite approach in 2023? And what if you went an inch wide and a mile deep versus just going really, really like just out there? Like instead of subscribing to 20 different podcasts or 15 different YouTube channels, what if you just chose your top 3 that were in alignment with your word of the year, what you wanted to accomplish in 2023, your vision and the direction you see yourself going in? What if you chose 3 thought leaders or influencers or gurus, whatever you want to call them, 3 authors, 3 podcasters, and hopefully I'm one of them, right? Shameless plug. But what if you just chose 3 and you decided to go super, super deep? And instead of reading, I always see on Facebook, people are out there like, hey, my goal is I'm going to read a book a week, right? Or I'm going to read 2 books a month or whatever the case might be. I think that's great. But that goal to me is very surface level. It's about quantity versus quality. What if instead of deciding to read a book a week or listen to, consume content however you consume it, in whatever frequency you consume it, what if you said, hey, instead of reading 12 different books in 2023 or 24 different books or 48 different books, whatever the case might be, what if you chose 5 books and you read those books numerous times? Right. So like I think about a book like The Atomic Habits, which I read, I don't know, about a year or so ago. I've only read that book one time. And I know for a fact, if I was to read that book a second time, I would pick up things that I didn't pick up the first time, and it would have a deep, meaningful impact on my life versus the next shiny object book that I just randomly saw on some Facebook post that people were like, talking about. So why don't you pick like The Go-Giver is one of my favorite books. I haven't read that book in a couple of years. I've been meaning to pick that book up again. Think and Grow Rich. That's probably like, you should just put that in your yearly annual rotation. Read Think and Grow Rich. So what if I was to read, instead of me reading 12 new books this year, which would probably be amazing, what if I read Think and Grow Rich, Atomic Habits, and The Go-Giver? I just chose those 3 books because I really like them, right? But I could add 2 more to that rotation. What if I read those 3 books plus 2 more, and I read them twice a month? Think about that for a second. What could you pick up that maybe you missed between the lines last time? Or let's take it a step further. What if you pick up a book like The Atomic Habits and you focused on a chapter a day? And that particular day, your intention was to follow through and do what exactly it spoke about in that chapter. And I believe in The Atomic Habits, at the end of the chapter, there's a summary. So what if you chose a chapter a day and your intention was to follow through and put what you learned to work, right? Like, one thing is reading it, but are you applying it? Knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. Right. So I want you to think about that in 2023. Maybe it's not about going wide. Maybe it's just about going deep. And I can take that a step further. Right. I just talked about applied knowledge being power. Well, to me, one of the most valuable currency out there, I've said in the past, transparency and vulnerability is the most valuable currency. I truly believe more than ever that relationships are the most valuable currency. So we're literally today getting back from our trip. We went to Asheville, North Carolina with the family and friends, had an incredible time. Again, it was about building relationships with friends, and it was about relationships with my daughters and my wife and family. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was in Mississippi doing the on-site due diligence for a new storage facility that I'm purchasing. And that facility, that off-market facility, was brought to me because of a relationship. And I met that person who introduced me to that opportunity through another relationship. Like, everything is all connected. This web of relationships. I'm thinking I'm going to record a podcast and it's going to be titled The Web of Relationships or something along those lines, because when I think about all the relationships, they're all connected in some way, shape, or form. When I think about everything I've accomplished and where I'm at today, it's due to relationships, for the most part, right? So maybe for you, it's creating a list of the people that you want to go deep with. Again, maybe this episode has something to do with just going deep and not wide, right? Because that seems to be the theme here. But maybe instead of just trying to continue to expand your network, which I think you should do, also make sure to place emphasis and focus on the people that align with your core values, the people that are maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4 steps ahead of you, the people that encourage you, the people that inspire you, the people that, you see an element of their life and you're like, I want to be more like that person. And not that you want to be that person, you want to be you, because God created you to be unique and special, and you're your own individual. There's only one of you. So don't ever rob yourself by trying to be somebody else. But you can take elements from other people. There's a lot of people in my life that I look at and I'm like, man, that Like that dude just has it dialed in this area, right? And I want to take a piece of that, right, and add it to my arsenal. That person has it really just, they're clicking and they're firing on all cylinders in this particular area of their life. What is it that led them to that position, right? How did they get in that place? Let me learn from them. Let me take a piece of that. So maybe it's just a handful of people that you want to go deeper with, that you really want to learn from. So hopefully this episode kind of gets you thinking, and don't ever feel like you're behind the 8 ball because we're already into January 2023. You might be listening to this 6 months down the road, maybe 3 years down the road. It still applies. Again, the best time to start something you know is going to help you is yesterday. The next best time is today. It's right now. So just as a recap, make sure you choose your word of the year. Write yourself a January letter. Set an intention for the week. Be like Babe Ruth. Call your shot. And then go deep, not necessarily wide. And that's with the content you consume. That's with the people you associate with, the relationships that you have. So look, I hope to be a big part of your journey in 2023. I hope this podcast can help you ascend, can help you move towards the direction of your goals and dreams. And I'm here for you. So anything you need, reach out. If there's a particular guest you'd like me to interview, if there's a particular podcast or topic you'd want me to record a podcast on, please reach out. Let me know because this show exists because of you. If you're not subscribed, every single Monday morning we got shows coming out. So make sure you're subscribed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you consume your podcast content. And then if you want to connect with us about Ascend, ascendyoursuccess.com. Just an incredible community of go-giving entrepreneurs that are succeeding at high levels in their life and in their business. So if you want just a community of people that are going to pour into you, if you want to learn more about that, ascendyoursuccess.com. With that being said, have an incredible first week of the year, or if you're listening to this at some point later on down the road, have an incredible week. Make sure to set your intention. Go make it happen. One last thing before you go, if you have been listening to the show for a while and or you have been getting value from the show, I would be 100% honored if you would share this show with a friend, or maybe share it with somebody that you think could benefit from this. It's my mission, it's my cause, it's my purpose through Flip Empire to impact and touch people's lives, to help people and in their businesses. So it would be an honor if you would be willing to share this episode. And one last thing, make sure that you're subscribed so that you get notified every Monday and Thursday when shows get released. I look forward to connecting with you on the next one. Until then, have a great day.